My name is Todd William Linsley. I'm the father of Bill and Sonia Linsley. We were a big family. I was the oldest son of two boys and five girls. My father was a research scientist, a chemist. My mother was a journalist and a writer. They were born in Ogden, Utah. I eventually made it back to Utah about 15 years ago, where my wife and I have lived off and on for about that 15 years. We did spend some time in Texas, which is a wonderful state as well. We enjoy Utah, and I've been all over the world. I've spent a lot of time in a lot of places. I grew up in New York and Detroit and Los Angeles, so I've seen how large cities do what they do. I know what it's like to deal with traffic and congestion, high density population. And I do see the challenges that Orem is up against now. Now, you asked me specifically what was what prepared me for working. Well, to be honest, the work that I've done, I worked in the entertainment industry for over 20 years. I've worked in logistics. I've created budgets. I've created schedules. I've made sure people got to work on time. I made sure I got to work on time. My work now is in education. Specifically, I teach science at a local junior high school. And I believe very strongly that one of the things that qualifies me as a city council person is that logistically, I'm solid. I pay attention to the small details. I anticipate the needs of my clients. And I believe that even as a city councilman, that I represent the people as opposed to lead the people. I believe that a leader makes decisions for himself and it requires people to follow. What my job as a city councilman would be to listen to your concerns, your needs, and to represent those concerns and those needs. My priorities as a city council member are few. Integrity is incredibly important to me. It's one of the reasons why I believe very strongly in giving our first responders the ability to make the decisions they have to make, giving them a generous budget that allows them to take care of emergencies. Emergencies just cost money. One of the things that I love about Orem is the entertainment, the rec center, the quality of life, the Sierra, the Hale Center, theater, the senior center, the library, the new auditorium, which is incredible. And these are all quality of life. I believe that Orem is about quality of life. We are a family city. We're Family City USA. It is important that we keep that value, that priority, and continue to support that. So as a representative of the people who wanted those things, I'll continue to support those things as well as anticipate the needs of those things as well. One of its biggest strengths is its people, the kindness of the people. I have been in many situations, car accidents. I've been in situations where I needed help, and the people have been there for me. I believe very strongly, as a father of two, that we need to raise our citizens as people who see a community together. I believe that we need to encourage interaction between neighbors and neighborhoods. And we need to do that by continuing to nurture the quality of life here in Orem, specifically in the parks and the recreation center, as well as the library. These are all incredibly important resources that we have at our disposal. I believe that one of the greatest challenges that we have is our recovering economy. We've been very, very blessed. The city of Orem has been nurtured and taken care of through a very difficult time in our history. The pandemic's been difficult, but I have seen the kindness and generosity of the local people beyond anything I've ever seen before. I've noticed that in an emergency, people really rise to an occasion, and that has been true here as well. I believe that we need to get out of the way of local business and nurture, give them the tools they need in order to make the commerce here strong. I'm a huge fan of local businesses. I frequent many of the restaurants here, and we love talking with the local businesses. I often ask them what is their needs, and they're just looking. They just look for an opportunity to perform, and they often rise to that occasion as well, just as the people here do. There are two issues that I'm very, very concerned about. The high density population is probably number two, second only to the mega drought that we're dealing with. Our water resource is incredibly important. We are so blessed to have, and the City Council's been doing a great job of taking care of our resource. I believe that I will be a part of that tradition and continuing to nurture the logistics of our water here in Orem. We do need to be careful about its use. We need to not have that cavalier approach to this mega drought. We need to take it seriously. My second biggest concern is the high density population. We see many cities surrounding us, including Provo and Vineyard, that are including high density population accommodations because, and I think it's a bit of a money grab right now. I think that we need to slow down and figure out what exactly our needs are, the people who are currently living here. Yes, the future is coming, and we do have to deal with the population influx. But I believe that we need to do it with temperance and not take the quick money. We need to hold off and allow for the market to decide what it does. It will do that anyway, and we will preserve a lifestyle that we are very, very happy with. The goal of the city has been plain. It's clear that they want single resident housing. And I am good with that. If that's what the people want, then they can have that. And I will reinforce that as well. Now, we're going to have to deal with things because local areas are like I said, Vineyard and Provo, there's a lot of entanglement there. It's barely visible, the differences between them. However, the one thing that I do see is multiple level, high density population housing. And I am specifically looking to protect the local population from that mistake. I believe that we need to I believe that we need to attempt to take care of that with temperance. And as a representative of the people, I will do that. I will listen to the concerns. Yes, I know that there's going to be need for some, and we'll do that. But it needs to be honest, attractive. It needs to be in the right place. It doesn't have to be right in the middle of a residential area. As a matter of fact, I would fight against that. Those are my two biggest concerns. As a community, we live together, and it is important that we do. In Orem, the people are its greatest resource. Now, I know that there are areas of Orem that need help, and these have a tendency to be lower income areas. And we're going to have that. But what I believe we need to be doing as a people, as a government, as a community, we need to be helping those people out. We need to have a standard. Absolutely. We need to have a threshold for what we're willing to accept. But we're also going for an aesthetic, and it protects our property values. It protects we know the economic values of keeping up property. And I've seen several properties, even in the last couple of days, that have gone neglected. And I would like to see a community outreach that would allow for those property owners, whether they're seniors or maybe they're just having a difficult time. I'd like to see some sort of a liaison between the housing, the people in the houses, and the city. Of course, we have to enforce certain standards, but I'd like there to be a compassion there and someone who can make compromises, who can negotiate. I don't think that we need to have people fined for neglect, because I think neglect is an issue that's personal, and we need to find a way to liaise between those homeowners and the city. I do believe that we need to come together as a community. If that means creating an organization, maybe volunteers. They can go mow a lawn every once in a while. That's great. Or encouraging or finding stimulus or grants to pay for upkeep of certain homes that need the help. Ultimately, it's about retaining the value of the personal property, which is incredibly important. As a city councilman, my job again is to listen to the people. I want to hear the people. Now, I sat in a city council meeting the other day, and it was a difficult one. I'll tell you that right now. There were some activists who experienced some great trauma over a policy that the city has been harboring for some time. It is for the animal shelter. Now, there are 4 gas chambers in the entire United States. I just think we can do better than this. Now, we do not need to be euthanizing these animals in such a violent and terrible way. As a person who I do love animals, absolutely love animals, and I love the comfort that they give us, and it is important that we give them back the same respect and care. It's important that we listen. And as I listened to a woman who was talking about the gas chamber in the northern Utah Valley animal shelter, the one thing that impressed upon me was the idea that we're better than this, and we should listen. And I didn't see on the council one person stop the meeting and comfort that woman. And I felt very strongly that that was the appropriate thing to do. And if I were your city councilman, that's exactly what I would have done. I would have stopped and listened. And maybe even embraced the woman. The trauma cannot go unnoticed. We need compassion. Animal rights isn't huge on my list of priorities, because I do think that we have most of that well taken care of in our policy making. However, I think we can do better than gas chambers to animals. Carbon monoxide poisoning to an animal is a violent death, and it's completely inappropriate and not consistent with our values at Family City USA. So yeah, I would listen. And those people who have a tendency to be somewhat marginalized because they appear to be radical, or the truth is that even if they are, they still deserve an ear and a voice. And we do need to listen. And it is a small thing for us to suspend the contract we have with that company until they can appropriately readjust their policies Or we can come to an investigation into what we can do better. So yeah, I would listen to even the fringes. They have a voice. They're here. They're our citizens. We need to hear them. Yeah, and that's my message, that you will, with me on your council, you will be heard.